It's a great honor for me to join this session to share with you about our practice and thoughts regarding the container technology. There are 4 parts in my presentation. The first part, I will talk about our Harmony Cloud in terms of the container technology development. And also today we have a large proportion of the audience are developers. So we'll talk about the practicing and implementation of container technology, and then I will share with you 2 case studies regarding the containerization. And the last part, I will talk about our cooperation with Alibaba. I don't know if you have attended the morning session. In the morning session, Mr. Sun Hongliang from Ali Cloud mentioned that Alibaba will announce a SEL lab project with Zhejiang University. I don't know if you have heard about the SEL lab of Zhejiang University. Please raise your hand if you have heard it. Zhejiang University SEL Lab as early as in 2011, all the technology we are studying in the university are from abroad, and all the core technology are in the hand of the foreign companies. So we need to give our gratitude to Linux Foundation and the CNCF. Through the endeavor, they provide the open source technology. And also some large-scale companies, they also have felt that they need to share for example, the computing framework to the public. For example, this morning, Alibaba mentioned about the open source project of their container technology pouch. And since 2011, we have organized several of our doctors and masters to study the container technology. For example, Zhang Lei, Sun Hongliang, Du Jun, they have studied the existing open source container technology in the market, like OpenStack, Cloud Foundry. Back then, Docker and the Kubernetes didn't exist. So in 2011, we chose Cloud Foundry. After 2 years of hard work, in 2013, we became one of the only 2 core code provider of Cloud Foundry. Before the OpenStack, there was a CloudStack, which was very popular. Cloud Foundry is a PaaS platform. This platform should be able to interface with the CaaS platform. So we help with this interfacing. And also Cloud Foundry only support the Java application. For the enterprise, they need the platform supporting .NET application. And then before the Cloud Foundry's launch, we have added in some applications supporting .NET. So when Docker comes out, Docker came out in 2013, and we started research in Kubernetes and Docker. And in 2015, as one of the 24 enterprises that co-established the CNCF. Now we have contributed more than 2 million lines of code. And by 2016, we have established the Harmony Cloud, and we have done 6 years of technology and talent accumulation. So for us, we hope that our technology accumulation and our best practice can be shared with more and more enterprises to help them with their containerization and to realize their transformation and innovation. Kubernetes started in June 2014. And also we have published a book called Container and Container Cloud. And in 2015, one of our team members was nominated as the feature maintainer. Also, we improved the volume and also improved the scheduler. And also we dedicated in the container runtime. In Kubernetes project, we have done a Practice project. So we have launched the core feature of the Kubernetes 1.7. Also, we have joined the CRA standard formulation. It can help to interface with different runtime. This morning, the Alibaba and Kubernetes interfacing CRI actually are accomplished by our university team. So based on the above-mentioned study, we published the first book called Docker Container and the Container Cloud, which is the first book in China having an in-depth analyzing of the container technology. So if you want to understand the container and the container technology, I think this book will be your best option. And how to construct your own container cloud is also mentioned a lot of practice in this book. And for open source community, we have contributed 653 commits to Kubernetes.
So, including CNCF and the Docker, speakers have talked about Docker's orchestration, etc. Well, actually, when we talk to a lot of customers and also developers like you, you know that we feel Docker, the containerization is the trend, but how is it related to my company? How can I leverage the trend to achieve my containerization? For the enterprises to really embrace the container technology, I totally agree with my Mr. Sam Chen from Docker, because that the world we're facing now is very different, at least very different from 20 years ago. 20 years ago, IT, at least in China, It is to System. I don't know if you have heard about System. Basically, this is enterprise IT system. It focuses on the warehousing, storage, finance, annual reports, etc. That was the largest requirement of the company. So back then, with CS and ABS, monolith architecture is enough. And now the business system is becoming more and more complicated, and its updating frequency is quicker and quicker. So for us IT professionals, both proposes great challenges. And the more complicated the system, the bigger the challenge. The quicker the updates, the more demanding on us. The more overtime we have to do. But I can still feel this is a good opportunity, because the more complicated the system, the more importance to have good profession. The more important to have good professionals, and also why we need quick updates, because the enterprise application is not a cost center. It's really becoming a core competence, become a profit center. And how can we solve these challenges? And in terms of complexity of the system, when it scales up, it becomes more complicated. In chemistry, there's a word called entropy. It is used to describe the degree of the complexity of matter. The higher the entropy, the more chaos the system. You have to reduce the value of the entropy. So to achieve autonomous management of these monoliths, and I really feel that container is a really good solution to that. With Guazi used car CTO Zheng Xiaopei, so I totally agree with his idea. He said that with a company in a company with ambition, if you are a leader, if you value your people, you have to give them a very good system, a very good platform to support applications based on containers. Because if you have a good platform, it is not really serving the customers. It's really serving the R&D people. So, inside the companies, I think as we say that if you want to do things right, you first have to have the right tools. So you have to have the agility of the process. Like you have to have a flow of the code, and this is very important to break through the silos of R&D and code aggregation to packaging to orchestration to deployment. It's just like an assembly line, and it's not that it is a flowing package. In the enterprise practice, we can even containerize the entire assembly line, because when the company is scaled up, and maybe they need a faster replication of certain assembly lines. The second is standardization in the R&D, and we have to see if these codes meet up with the standard. Whether they can do code checks. I don't know if you find out that some R&D people, for their own convenience, they secretly call up others applications and store in their own kind of small storage. But this results in very high redundancy of the code. They also maybe sometimes add in more forms, and it's convenient for them, but it creates complexity and redundancy of the system. And also automation and agility. And in 1 to 2,000 headcount company, you don't necessarily need a centralized platform. You can because of the container's lightweight features, you can give your team, every team, a small set of environment, as long as this small environment comply with the standard. And also, the platform we do is based on Kubernetes. And for example, the fuse. For example, the fuse circuit mechanism. And also in terms of the load balance, like the traffic and the latency recognition and the sensing, these are all features of the microservice. Monitoring and follow-up. We felt that monitoring and when the system is getting more complicated, this is the only way to reduce the workload of the operation and the maintenance staff. To reduce the workload of ops team, it's a very good tool to use. So we value monitoring. We have our own monitoring platform. And this is also focusing on the container at user level, and even it can apply on key customers, on key users. You can monitor the user behavior of these key users. And also at this enterprise level, you have to value more on the security and also the security scan of the mirror warehouse, and also the CIS Docker benchmark scanning to identify the security bugs or the security issues in the operation. You can find anomalies of the containers, and then you can do either fusing or alarm. And I also want to talk about the mandatory segregation of the containers. Alice Punch is also a mandatory segregation example. On our platform, we also have this feature. Using this mandatory segregation, you know that for a container, it's sharing of kernel. If there is some network parameters has certain requirement on the kernel, then maybe you will put it on virtual machine, or if the container's kernel is not up to Docker's requirement, then we can put it on a lower version of a VM, so we can achieve the unified calling of the kernel on the platform. So it's not necessary to be a pure container environment. And also for the enterprise service guarantee, like one-click platform deployment, K8S full opponent high availability guarantee, and also the disaster backup for the platform. So we felt that enterprises does not only need a framework, they need the entire implementation solutions. So from the hybrid cloud, we did we did the Microsoft framework, distributed monitoring and follow-up, continuous integration, and the cloud controller. For example, this container network, it is Kubernetes come with the Flannel plugin. And for the neutron and sensors network, their performance is better, but they are not true segregated networks. So we will release the OEM's network. It is natively support balanced load and multiple tenders, as well as the security groups. And then quick cases. So this is the implementation plan we did for a bank, from code management. And in the bank they have maybe Firefly. We containerize it, so the entire environment is 100% containerized. For DevOps, for developing and the testing teams, if they want a pure environment, we can give it to them. And more interestingly, they have a very good container user case, because this customer do a very good automation test. They run a lot of automatic testing, and for their legacy system. Some of the modules, when they change or update or VM has malfunctioned, the entire automatic testing will have to be done. And they have to run, and every automatic testing run for 8 hours. If we use us, then we can solve that issue. And also, this is a mobile bank. When it comes to the platform, it reduced the amount of the VM. It was not that important to the bank, but in terms of personnel, previously for the mobile bank, you need one for the Android, one for the iOS, and then you need one for the service and one for the code, etc. And now we can save all of these personnel. And in terms of the compliance rate of the code, currently in the bank, you can imagine every day in the dev test, 10 times almost one day. This is the only amount that can be achieved by .com company. And also the internet, the IT transformation of manufacturing industries. China is very proud of its strong manufacturing industry. And now it is also transforming into in their IT structures. So why a manufacturer need IT? Because my understanding is that IT can collect, internet can collect users' feedback very easily. And our customer is the world's largest open smart TV platform. Now they have over 225 million users with a daily active rate of 10 million. And when we work with them, they only have 18 million, then grow to 25 million, so rapid growth. They expected the number will exceed 48 million by 2018. So this will propose a lot of challenges. So once they migrate on our platform, the IT's load, they can save resources for over 50%.
微服务化的改造啊，这些
And also, we have done some microservice renovation and improve its business operation level. And also at their clients, and we use our monitoring product to do the data collection and also smart recommendation solutions and so on. It's a great honor for us, no matter from the perspective of the university or from perspective of the enterprise, that we can have an in-depth collaboration with other cloud. I think Alibaba is a world famous brand, and also Ali Cloud has a large number of users at home and abroad. So we hope that in the future we can have some joint R&D regarding the container technology based on Kubernetes.